Hi guys, happy Halloween. I want to talk about something that students find petrifying, and that is stalling. You love being on my channel, I know it. I can feel it. I get it through the vibes. Right, I'm going to tell you a story today about why stalling is so important. I always hear my students going, I don't want to stall today. I don't want to stall today. Or I'm going to try and be that student who never stalls, right? Now, you have to stall. As a driving instructor of 21 years, I'm telling you, you must stall. It's really important. The likelihood of you not being able to stall is extremely unlikely, right? I've been a driving instructor for 21 years and I've only met one person who has done it. And he came to me, he'd already been with another instructor, so he may have stalled with them, but with me, he didn't stall. And he was very, very proud of this situation. However, it backfired horrendously. And this story is why you must stall as when you're a learner. When you are learning to walk, as we all do, as little babies, right? We're all going to fall down. We're all going to trip over. It's going to happen. It's a part of the learning process. We need to know how to get back up. Yeah. If I said to you, for the rest of your life, you're never going to trip over again, we all know that that's not going to happen. We are all going to trip over again. We just hope that it's not when we're like walking to get our degree certificate on the stage in front of everybody, right? That is the one place that we don't want to trip over, right? But this is the thing. You have to stall to know how not to stall. It's part of the learning process, right? But everybody judges their lessons on stalling. We may have this amazingly beautiful, wonderful lesson which is the elite of driving, and then the student stalls and then they go home and they're like totally devastated, and it's like, you just stalled, don't worry about it. So I'm going to talk about my student who didn't stall. He was very proud of himself and I was quite surprised, really. I was like, wow, this is interesting. You know, I think I'd been a driving instructor for 21 years, so this is quite recent. Yeah. Probably he qualified about a year ago, something like that, maybe a year and a half. And he didn't stall. And to be honest with you, I was thinking to myself, okay, well, this is quite interesting. Yeah. And he passed his test and he didn't stall. And he was like, God, I did it, you know. And I was like, wow, I can't believe it either. Like, you know, I've never had a student who's not stalled before. Wow, it's amazing. Anyway, we did a motorway lesson together. And we went down the motorway. And it was all very nice. And when we went down the motorway, we then went to a quieter place to like drive around in a new area that we'd not been in before, either of us. And we were just mooching around the town and stuff. And his first stall happened. And my God, guys, the panic was unbelievable. So this person's got a full driving license, like a totally pink, like he is a driver, and the extent of his panic was beyond anything that I've ever seen in my entire life, beyond any stall that I've seen any learner do. Yeah, I think he had all of the pressure that he is a driver now, and he had no idea how to get out of that stall because he had no experience, or not any experience for a very, very, very long time. And he was petrified, guys, petrified. So knowing how to stall is extremely important. Or when you do stall, it's really important that you know how to get out of it. It taught me a lot, right? You know, I've been a driving instructor for a very long time, but this changed my whole perception. And it's only happened in the last year and a half. I was like, wow, okay. Do you know what? If I ever have a student again who is thinking I don't want to ever stall in my driving lessons with Roz, I think that now, since seeing that happen, I think I may make the student stall because the panic was unbelievable. Not in a nasty way, please don't get me wrong, but I think I would say to them at the beginning of the lesson, I've noticed that you haven't stalled, or you know what, this game of you not stalling is all fun and everything, but you really need to know how to get out of this. So with that student, with permission and with a talk through situation, right, I would say to them, let's stall, let's pull up on the left, we're going to move off, and when it's all safe around us, I'm going to make the car stall. Or we could come up with some plan that the student stalls, right? Haven't you? I'm just like coming out with this now. I'm like thinking it all through. But I think I would, because I've never seen panic like that. So guys, I really want you to take from this particular video that stalling is completely necessary for you to learn how to get out of it, how to recover from it, what to do if you do it somewhere bad, like in a roundabout or something like that. Yeah. If you've got a car that starts when you put the clutch down, that's brilliant. Yeah, if the car stalls, you put the clutch down, and if you've got the automatic start-stop function on your car, most of the time it will just start itself back up, and then you check your gear just to make sure, because you may have stalled because you were in the wrong gear, and then you gently move off again. Yeah. If you've got a car where you need to turn the key, yeah, clutch down, turn the car on, check your gear, yeah, and then move off again. Now, sometimes it is important not to make the car completely stop. Yeah, that might be dangerous, right? So let's just say like you stall in a roundabout. So you've come up to the roundabout, you've stopped, you're in second. You go to move off, yeah, and you stall, right? Taking your time to get out of this particular stall is dangerous, right? If there is no one in front of you and it's safe to do this method, you should put the clutch down, which will start the car again, or put the clutch down and turn the car on. And when you put the clutch down, if you've got an organic roll, because you've got some momentum left in the car and there's nothing in front of you, use that roll to check your gear and then make it move off again. It would be incorrect or unsafe if you stall inside a roundabout to go, oh, I've stalled, so I'm going to stop the car, I'm going to put the handbrake on, I'm going to enter neutral, I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and then I'm going to start the whole process again. We can't, you know, when you're like on lesson 1, we might be going, okay, we've stalled, let's just reset everything, let's go handbrake neutral and turn the signal off, and let's just start again, because you're learning, yeah, and you want all the processes and all the systems to be in your head. But when you're like near to test, or you've had a lot of driving lessons, that kind of stall is like, that's for learners. Yeah, we don't want to be like resetting and like taking loads of time handbrake neutral. It's going to be people wanting you to get on, you know, if I was to stall, or if there's, or your mum and dad or your friend or the van driver or whoever you see on the road stalls, they're not going to want to bring any attention to that. Yeah, they're not going to be like, I've stalled, guys, everybody look at me, I've stalled. And I'd just like you to see that before I continue. No, like if I was to stall, yeah, we all trip over sometimes. I'd like to say that I don't stall very often, yeah, but when it happens, because I am human and we all trip over, I don't want to be bringing any attention to that. Yeah, so if it's safe to do so, I will be bringing that car back to life as soon as possible. Yeah, I'd go clutch down. If I'm lucky enough to have any roll in the car that goes forward organically and there's no car in front of me, I would sort everything out in that little roll, and I'd get my gear all good and I'd make sure that everything's fine, and then I'd move off. And then hopefully, if the person behind is listening to music, they may not even notice that I stalled. If they've got their music on, they may just be like, oh, why is she moving off a little bit slower than normal? That's a little bit annoying. Yeah, and that's it. They may not even notice that you stall. When I was at traffic lights the other day, I saw a van on the other side of the traffic lights stall really violently. Yeah, his whole van like went blah, like literally just like it was huge, like it was a massive stall, yeah. But, you know, it's barely, I mean, I giggled just then because of the way like I described it, but it's not really, it's everybody stalls, you know, it's pretty normal. You know, if you were to stand at the side of the road for long enough, someone's going to stall at a traffic light, you know. It's just one of those, you know. It literally is like me saying, for the rest of your life, you are never going to trip up again. You're never going to stumble or trip or fall down. It's absolutely impossible, right? So please know that stalling is part of the learning process. You need to do it. In fact, if you don't do it, you're going to be like that other student of mine. And then when you eventually do, because you are going to stall in your life, you're not going to be somebody who never stalls for the rest of their life, even if you got through your driving lessons, without stalling, which is highly, highly, highly unlikely. Like I say, I've been a driving instructor for 21 years and only one person in 21 years has done it, and it backfired horribly on his motorway lesson. So please know that you need to stall, because you need to know how to get out of it. You need to know how to repair it and move on quickly safely from the situation, quickly and safely from the situation, so it really doesn't affect anybody else, right? If you're doing it in a roundabout. Having said that, if you stall on your test, which is highly likely to happen, I always say to my students, look, you're going to be nervous. Put yourself down for 2 stalls on your test. Because if you think to yourself that you're going to stall twice on your test, then you're just like, oh, well, yeah. Ros said that I was going to stall like once or twice on my test. So tick, it's fine. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I've stalled. Because you're not going to fail for stalling if you're just stalling in a safe place, like on the spot. Yes, you can stall if you're inside a junction. And this is why it is so important that you know how to fix and save the stalls and move off as safely as possible. And then you may be able to still pass your test. All right, guys, happy Halloween. I hope this information has helped you, and I shall see you on the next one.